Welcome to this episode of Teen Titans Talk. Haha, I tricked you. I didn't rehearse for that. So we are going to talk. We're going to ask questions about the season thus far. But before we do that, we're going to not do that. We are going to do a little epilogue portion for the things that I totally didn't forget to cover in the last episode.
I don't believe you.
Should be very brief. Yeah.
What is Cinderblock's fate?
Yeah, what the hell
I'm
is
dying to
Cinderblock
know.
doing?
Is he dead?
So no, listen. So everything rematerializes in the desert. And it's at a point where you guys are still there to make the choice. It happened some point between after you beat Logan, but before you went home. So Cinderblock is there. He kind of like groggily, this is for narrative purposes. It's not like he's conscious, but he is not combatant. He's basically, you could bonk him and kill him, but he is kind of up. He sits up and kind of looks around. And so basically the situation is that you guys you have a choice of like what to do about him. He has been altered in a few ways. So but he is not hostile towards you any longer.
Can we talk to him?
You can certainly try.
Cinderblock! Hey, are you in there?
He looks to go. Cinderblock has never been able to speak.
Oh. Does anybody have comprehend languages? Tongues? Can anybody speak in tongues?
Perhaps the raven could read his mind.
I can turn into a earth elemental. I don't know if I can understand him though.
I have no idea.
I know. Okay, if I could speak Terran as an earth elemental, and if he's speaking Terran, can I understand it? I don't know if I can. It says I could speak it. Wait.
I have no. I mean, it would certainly make sense in this world for him to be some kind of elemental adjacent, even though I made him as a construct. I mean, the type really doesn't matter between the two, but I mean, I could say that would work.
I'm gonna turn into an earth elemental.
Okay, Cinderblock. Damn it! I googled Cinderblock, and what do you think came up? Yeah.
Yeah, language is Terran.
Okay. Well, I will say one way or the other between speaking as Rockman or Raven using her mind powers, you can communicate with him.
Yo, what's the sitch, Rockman?
He goes.
So what's Cinderblock sound like when he's a normal guy?
Oh God. I had planned on doing like emotional impressions, like not like speech.
Well,
you should never
plan for anything with us.
Players have agency. Let's go.
Yeah. He goes, wow. Sorry, something. The vocal cords are still pretty messed up from all these alterations. He goes. He goes, thank you for saving me. I hate this choice even as I try to commit to it.
I love it.
You gotta dig in. Keep going.
Yeah, no problem. Are you okay? What happened?
He goes, well, I after I remember fighting you at the prison and then an explosion, and then I couldn't move, but I was in a lab and they kept adding pieces to me. And then the pretty man looked in my eyes and he says, and I wanted to help him.
Yeah, you were
That
controlled by a
feeling,
vampire.
he says, yes. He says, that feeling wanes sometimes, but they also, they had other ways of keeping me obedient. And by the time I was fully awake, he looks down at his chest and just at the like gaping, now broken open like cockpit, and he goes, they changed me.
Well, maybe it could be fixed.
He
Beast
goes,
Boy, tell him the piece that he's been missing all along has been friendship.
he looks at you because he goes, I can understand him.
Oh,
Yeah, he heard you.
But,
Wait,
I
I
meant
can't
for you to
talk.
say it better than I
I'm
did.
growling.
he just can't speak like the same
Sorry,
thing you speak.
I expected him to say it better than I did.
I give a thumbs up to Cyborg and then to Cinderblock.
I mean, as somebody who's only like part of a human, like that's become the most important thing to me. So, anyway, y'all keep talking. Sorry.
So he says, I just don't want to be able to be controlled.
Yeah, it's not fun to be pushed around and told what to do. Maybe we could work something out. I guess I guess I turn back into Beast Boy and I relay like kind of what he explained about how he was captured, and I'm like, should we take him into custody or should he? What should we do? Should we set him free?
I guess it depends. Does he seem like he's going to immediately start stirring up trouble, or do you think he's going to try and find a new life? Well, do we know
Do we
much
know why
about
he
his
was in the
plan?
prison in the first place?
He was he was a I mean, he has a villain history, but mostly he was like an agent for Slade, or however, Slade's manipulated lots of types, obviously, and Slade sent him to break out Plasmus.
Oh, right.
But that's the only interaction you've had with him thus far.
I quickly, as we're talking. Oh wait, do I don't know if I actually have access to the internet, but I do a quick little search on his past criminal history.
Well, you guys have read his file before, and
Okay.
I will say there is genuinely not a lot on Cinderblock because he is, I'm pretty sure, like a Teen Titans cartoon original character, and also like he's been in a comic, but like it was like one run of a Teen
Right.
Titans like comic run, and yeah, he's not like Plasmus, for instance, has greater like comic origin than Cinderblock does. Cinderblock
Right.
who knows what the hell he came from. There's so many like weird metahumans or mutated like plant people or like magically animated like things in this world that, you know, yeah.
I know I'm like, look, he doesn't have a giant past, and darn it, he was being manipulated by Slade. I don't know. I think it just really depends on where we think he's going to go from here on out.
I say, perhaps we can give that kind of crime a pass. And I glance over at Robin, but then try not to look like I'm glancing over at Robin.
Well, we're definitely not leaving him in the middle of, the desert. No. And
look,
I mean,
you're going to be okay.
Yeah, I turn back into an earth elemental, and I'm just like, do you have like a home to go back to? Where are you from?
He goes, he says, no home when come into people place. I don't know. I'm talking normally, actually. He says, no, I don't. I says, I do not have a home. He says, when I would go to a place with people, well, even if even if I did not want to hurt anyone, they would attack me. So one of the first people to not attack me was the masked one.
I change back into Beast Boy again. I'm just like, what if we had him under our protection for a while?
He could just live at the.
I mean, we have a whole like island there.
That's true.
I mean, he could hang out.
Doubt.
What's he gonna do on Titan Island? I think.
I guess he could go anywhere.
Do we know?
I know a lot of people were upset about his supposed death, so they might be happy that he's all right now.
The question is if we did bring him to the tower, would he be able to be visible to the public, or would we need to hide him? Because actually hiding him wouldn't be easy.
Good point. I think the question is whether we should just let him go on his way, or if he needs some type of supervision or taken under someone's custody. Seems like he's had some bad streaks of getting controlled by bigger villains.
Could try to
Cyborg.
Okay. I was going to
go
say.
Ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, feel free to roll Arcana. Oh, I guess nobody has Roll20 open. I'll just tell you this. It's fairly apparent now that you have time to like observe his modifications. With access to the internal portion that's been kind of like hollowed out a little bit, you can tell that obviously repairing him like fully, restoring him to something like what he was before, although he will never be the same, would take many months of continual work and periodic attention. But you could successfully like gut the control equipment and like weld like inner weld like all of the like control connections so that they are just like bits of, because he's like a rock person, so him having like
so basically
like, you could rewire it to his own neural network,
right,
and like block off and like any access in like an hour. It wouldn't be long. And then so basically when it comes down to the choice, whatever you guys decide to do, you can in either of those choices take away at least the ability to directly control him.
Right. I was gonna ask, could I feasibly, because his current body is kind of devastated, could I, well, effectively downgrade him or construct a new body based on what he already has that would look completely different from what he is, and he'd effectively have a new life?
I don't think he wants to look different.
Well, I know it's worth asking. I'm just, is it
Well,
something
I think his body is the rock parts, and that's kind of what's the important part.
Right. I mean, that's what I mean is it something that he, like, it's, as it stands, his body's kind of devastated. Can we even restore it to its full functionality? And if so, do we, in the meantime, do we want to is there a way to just give him a partial movement while his body's being restored? That's more of what I'm asking.
Yeah. That comes into like what you choose to do for a method of repairing him. So basically, you guys have hit the two choices that I could think of at least right on the head. So before I say more about that, as you guys are talking, the little bug, like the little robot bug, like skitters out onto his shoulder, and he notices it. And he kind of puts a finger up to it, and it like crawls onto his finger, and he kind of like lifts it up to his face and looks at it, and he kind of smiles a little bit, just looking at the little robot bug, which is the little observation bug drone that that Robin threw on him in case things kind of went further south.
Yeah.
But yeah, and now with that, like, you guys, yeah, you could do whichever. You could bring him home.
Yeah, I turned to Robin and or sorry, I cut you off.
He was saying the choices.
What did you say?
You could bring him home.
We want to do.
Yeah, you could bring him home, but it is also a conceivable option considering his obviously his status in the US as a villain, to leave him to this kind of life more of solitude and harmlessness.
I'm going to while people are cyborgs going over all these technicalities, I'm just going to abruptly raise my hand, and I'm going to say, I will vote as per the American democracy.
I turn to Robin and I say, "Can we keep him?"
I show up behind Beast Boy and nod furiously.
I mean, he's all beat up. We gotta at least like fix him, and then like get him. We should keep him.
Look, we need to, obviously we need to ask what he wants, but we need to know what's possible and what we're willing to offer before we give him his options.
How many times have I transformed?
How plausible it is to revert him back to his original state, is it?
I think I need to make a check for that. Do we even know what his original state is? Oh, well, you mean the old one. The
old rock person.
Don't assume that he had he means the rock one, because as far as anyone knows, Cinderblock was never like a normal guy.
Yeah, we don't know. And that's kind of what I was saying is my proposal is in his current form, I don't even know if we can fix him. So reverting him to something else might be able to both be a disguise and make him more mobile and easier to fit in doorways. Should I roll a check to see how easy it would be to, say, turn him back to his old form or some other form?
Well,
in general?
so what I was trying to say before was that this is not going to be a check. It is going to be a thing that you know is possible. And then down the road in season 2, if there are particular things you want to do, that then we can cover those with checks. But either way, it's going to be a process that takes like a good amount of time.
Right.
If you want to like completely remove like the big drill arm and everything and like the modifications, but uh but what is the complete opposite of that is if you just want to gut the internal controls and make sure he can't be like piloted.
That would be a good first step, yeah.
Mhm.
Unless he wanted to, like, say, be my new car and turn him into
No.
a transformer.
That's where this whole thing was going.
See, this
I need a new car.
this is where y'all's like, can we have a pet / useful ally thing like breaks down is with Cyborg / Johnny being like, let me do questionably ethically questionable things.
Yeah, we need to now. We need to do the season 2 community thing
Look.
where we vote on whether Cyborg is the Teen Titan anymore.
Look, the thing is, we're gonna have to mod this guy one way or another.
Listen,
like, we gotta change him. So we could
well,
offer him upgrades.
we have to fix him. We don't have to change him. We
Is
have
it-
to.
Is it really necessary to figure out what specific ways we fix him right now?
We'll do that. I think that what we need to figure out right now is how we're gonna help him, and I feel like we gotta at least make it up for him to him with all the bad blood we've had in the past. Because
Right.
he's had a hard time.
Cinderblock.
What do you?
We have two options. One is you can kind of do your thing here, and nobody's going to really bother you. There's a lot of desert. Or you can come back, and over time we can slowly try and help you to get back to some semblance of yourself, and maybe you can, maybe we can give you a job as like guarding the tower or something like that.
I changed back into a earth elemental so he can respond to me.
He goes, says, I am not sure. He says, I don't know. He's like, I would have to return to a place where people would look at me in fear. He says, I do not know. I don't want to be controlled.
Any way you look at that, we can stop that from happening, and then you can make your choice. We have friends that can take you places.
He says, okay, but he says, so if I understand correctly, you were like, basically whatever you choose will give you like freedom, your own will back before, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
My whole thing would just be we figure out a way for him not to be controlled, set him up that, and then let him make his decision on if he wants to stay or if he wants to go somewhere. And we can facilitate him.
I add on. I'm like, you should have your own freedom, and I understand that it could be hard to trust after all you've been through.
He nods. He says, please just help me be free.
I think that's something that we would like to do.
Well, we can start with that. I think that's all right. Let me look. How long is it going to take me? Is this something I can do in 10 minutes? Or is this something I
mean, yeah, somewhere. It doesn't really matter how long it takes you. We say scene transition. You've completely removed all the components and like blocked off the access ways, rerouted what needed to be rerouted, and filled in this Well, he still has this kind of cavity in the front part, but it's not like structurally threatening or anything. He stands up and moves around, and he lifts up that big drill arm, like pointing it up, and it just kind of it's slowly like he just slowly like it's like he's moving his fingers in one hand, and then he looks at the drill, and the drill like slowly rotates, like he can control even the new augmented portions. And he looks down and he says, he just smiles at all of you in a way that maybe some or all of you can't help but feel a little guilty for, considering your past. But there's none of that towards you from him. He just smiles and says, well, or he says, well, wherever you want me to go, I am not eager to return to people, but I trust you if you want me there.
You'll be under our protection and our friendship.
Dude,
Okay.
I've got the tower kitted out with all kinds of cool defenses.
While we're saying this, I whisper to Raven. I say, "Can he join our team? Is he a team?"
Wait. Do we even need Tara? Can we have
I whisper back, and I'm like, I don't know rock ages.
Yo, Tara will like imagine what Tara will be able to do with Cinderlock.
Oh no!
We said he wouldn't be controlled, and Tara's just going to be like, puppet.
Yep, but you don't know that. So, if that is your decision, then he will come with you guys, either way, whether you teleport back home or whether you get on the big bomber, he can be taken with you. With your connections with Agent Morgan, she will help you conceal his entry into the country and get
Very
him into
good.
like a big section in like the garage. Is where
I turn to
he'll have
Cyborg.
to.
I'm like, yo, Cyborg, maybe you can like build like a translator so that he could talk to all of you.
Oh, I can do that. Hold on.
Yeah.
Let me look. Let me look at my research and what I can
Yeah.
construct.
So
can Agent Morgan also really fast look into our connections to give him like find a home for him, like somewhere that he might actually thrive at. I don't know if he's going to be like thriving on Teen Titans Island. So
in our garage, yeah.
In our garage.
Well,
yeah, like give him options.
To be completely honest, if you explain all your choices and everything, she just goes, to be honest, if you had he's like, when you ask me about that kind of thing, where I think a big rock man who could be potentially dangerous would maybe thrive and have a peaceful life, maybe it would be some unoccupied place like a desert or something.
She's like sarcastic lady.
She's like, you kids picked the tougher choice.
Wait,
but now we can eat the pizza with him.
What if Cyborg wants?
We want to do whatever's best for him, and we got to repair him. And
does he eat pizza? He's a rock.
all of these. Okay, hold on.
We must find out.
Always teleport.
All of these questions. Okay, all of these questions and more in season 2 of Teen Titans Roll.
Okay,
I do have one question. I do have one question about that ending real quick. Did we just fix him in the middle of a desert, or did we take him home to fix him?
Okay, so you fixed the ability to control him. He was still super fucked up and like roboticized.
We just did
and
that
like
in the
had
desert?
a big. No.
I mean, Donatello the Ninja Turtle can hotwire like a spaceship that he just saw without knowing aliens existed in like 5
Yes,
minutes.
yes.
So
I'm just clarifying.
It's very much
that
within.
We did that in the middle of a desert.
yes.
I mean, Cyborg
Okay,
has.
Cyborg is a toolkit. Cyborg, Cyborg can do that.
It's impressive.
I'm gonna use that
like-
next time he makes me mad.
Cyborg, you're a tool.
Just with no tools. I don't know. I
Did
was
you just call
impressed.
me a toolkit?
No, he has tools. He has
is a
like
tool.
all of like
I'm
his
not a
work tools
toolkit.
integrated.
He is a tool.
Yeah. So, but as far as longer term, getting him back to his original state, that will be a longer process.
We just
so,
have
yeah.
to lay him down and fill him with cement and let it dry.
Fair point. Fair point. Try that.
Okay, so now we get to this actual segment for tonight, which is the Teen Titans Talk, where we're going to talk all about this season leading up to now. We're going to go through some questions. Hopefully we can get through most of these or some of these. And yeah, I hope this isn't just. I mean, who knows what this could look like? It could be questions, a lot of questions from these cast members, or it could be them drilling me about my stupid decisions throughout this game. But no, I think it will be good. So now we have some questions, surprisingly good questions from a surprisingly stupid man.
Hey,
Wow.
ow, ow!
Whoa.
Look, I farted these things out when I was. Anyway, go ahead.
He can be a genius when he wants to.
I bet if you took our IQs, his would probably technically be the highest.
No, stop.
100%.
Not
I
allowed.
say that.
110%.
110 IQ.
I don't even know if that's high. See, that's
That's
where
low.
It's considered average in the United States.
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
average
Yeah.
to low.
Yeah.
Okay, we're
Low
all
for
doing a
genius,
BuzzFeed
yeah.
test right now.
Okay. So, the first one is, what's something new you learned about the DC universe over the course of this playing in this season?
You know,
do we
I
all
never
chime in, or-
actually did the research. I knew there were like devils and angels, but I'd never even thought about the idea that there was God in it, and like the Abrahamic God in a pseudo Catholic religion was the actual canonical religion of this world.
Yeah,
I was like,
the,
oh, okay.
the source, from what I understand, is he describes himself as legitimately that, like you described,
Yeah.
but he's also like every conception
Right.
of like the over deity at the same time, and probably also like whatever like alien like over deities exist as well.
Right. He's more concepts than just the Abrahamic
yeah.
God.
But he's the he is the conception of, basically God in a capital G sense, other than the fact that he communicates with, like, obviously there is someone else that controls even him that he's aware of, who is the writer of whatever comic book, and in this case the DM. So
Yeah. Oh, this is Mormon.
this is more.
I'm trying to think if there's anything I learned that I didn't already know. 'cause I'm
I
pretty big-
definitely didn't know anything about like the big spectral green guy who is like associated with God or something. I don't think I knew
Yes.
anything about that.
That is the Spectre, who's a pretty cool character, who he is conceptualized as, he is described as the right hand of vengeance of God. So like, and of
Dude.
like, again, it's described as like actual god. And for whatever reason, that, because it's DC, that of course has to mean that he is a guy who is like kind of a superhero anti-hero sometimes, but he's also like a cosmic entity that is like, yo, John Constantine, stop dicking around.
I guess I learned a lot about Plastic Man. Like I
That
don't
was
know,
mine.
I don't
That was
know
mine.
that we actually learned a lot about Plastic Man, but I
Yeah.
rarely think about it.
I didn't
so,
know
like...
Edwina was an actual character. When you
In
first
one
brought
comic.
Edwina up, I thought it was just an NPC you came up with.
No.
I appreciate yesterday I was on the internet and they had someone proposed Plastic Man versus Magneto. And everybody who said Magneto was just getting hated on because everybody Plastic Man would just own.
Plastic, not only, right, is it obvious that Magneto cannot take advantage of his powers against Plastic Man, because unlike even a regular human, he can't do the like rip the iron out of your blood thing,
Yeah.
because Plastic Man has no blood. But even if, like, even aside from that, Plastic Man is like stupidly and perhaps sometimes inconsistently, but that's the case with all superheroes, like a big threat. He's like the plan if Martian Manhunter ever went rogue, because he doesn't have a brain that could be controlled.
Yep.
But yeah,
Even more Plastic Man that I didn't know about.
yeah. But yeah, I mean,
because
yeah, I was gonna say, Charlie, did you know it?
I don't know anything about DC. I'm a Marvel person, and even then, I don't read comics. So, like, I'm really just an MCU person.
Yep.
And Teen Titans. I watch Teen Titans, but yeah, everything, literally everything that wasn't in Teen Titans, I learned, including things about John Constantine.
Sorry, I also did not know there was a whole pirate dimension.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
We learned about the pirate dimension, and I looked really hard to find out like what characters' appearances were there, but apparently it's not really something that's like, used a lot.
I did not know. I randomly spit out like a number for a dimension one time in chat, and then I looked it up, and it was the dimension of the Amazonians, and I'm like, yeah, that's exact. Wow, they have
That's
that, and I
fitting.
randomly guessed it. Yay.
Yeah. Okay, so what was your favorite episode and why? And I could also conceptualize this as like an arc, like an episode in terms of the show, not necessarily even it has to be in terms of like our production rate, but like an arc, like the Nevermore arc, or the Masks arc, or whatever.
Honestly, I mean, it wasn't a perfect example of it, but it was pretty fun. I really enjoyed this thing we had in the Middle East. Those who know me know I'm a big Shadowrun fan, and I like infiltration missions, and it had some pretty good role playing dynamics. I don't know, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, and if there's a DC franchise that I like more than Teen Titans, it's Suicide Squad. So that was a crossover.
I really like the part where we went underwater and then made a drug and then met God.
That was pretty good.
It's still my favorite.
That was, if I'm correct, the same episode where Dylan Cannon guest starred and I spanked him for a very long time.
To see all the things.
As happens when one of you goes over to the other's house in real life.
Yeah, for those who don't know, Dylan was my best man at my wedding in real life, and he's a very good friend. And so it was inevitable that our coming together in this podcast would turn into some kind of horrible shitpost.
Great. Amazing.
I thought you were going to say, just so you guys know, Dylan and I are best friends and we do spank each other.
They probably do, but still.
Next time you see him, you should just smack him on the butt, and he'll probably be like, he'll either be like, okay, yeah, that's fine, or he'll be offended because that's like a jock thing to do.
I never know, honestly. I won't know until I do it.
It's for experimental reasons only. Or he'll have listened to this episode and been like, I knew you were going to do that shit.
Yeah, right. He would not. He's not listening.
No.
He was
I'm
supposed
joking,
to show
I'm
up
joking,
today,
he
but
might be.
he doesn't love us, so.
No, it's specifically because he doesn't listen to like narrative podcasts. Like, I've tried so hard to get him into certain actual play podcasts that I know he'll love, but he just like refuses.
I relate though. I relate.
Doesn't he work in a warehouse or something? That'd be perfect for him. Anyway.
Yes, I know.
Perfect.
We can't go off on a tangent about some unrelated person's flaws
again.
He's a great author.
Yes, he's a great author, lad.
And we love him.
Yes, we do. We love you, Dylan.
Indeed.
I'm torn between 3 arcs. I think my favorite like theatrical arcs of our podcast. I really liked Nevermore.
Mm-hmm.
I really liked the whole arc with Constantine, and I really liked the Slade Apprentice arc.
Oh yeah, what happened with Apprentice was really good.
I really, my favorite fight was probably, it's a tie, but I think my favorite fight was when Robin and I were fighting Slade. That whole battle was super cool. I also liked the whole crazy battle with Constantine and what's his name? Etrigan. And I don't know, I just really like Constantine as a character, so I was kind of fangirling the whole entire time. But yeah, I really liked, I think theatrically, Nevermore was the first time like the podcast I was like, wow, this is like enrapturing me.
Yeah, honestly, Raven episodes like that.
Sisters was good.
Yeah, but
oh man,
like,
there's been a lot.
Well, I guess we'll have you. Yeah, you go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I was gonna say. I think the finale of Masks was really good. Like, Masks is one of the instances where I really like what the way we changed the plot was so interesting and ended up like in really subtle ways changing the whole like party dynamic and everything. I really like that. And I think it was some of our strongest storytelling. And then of course bias, my favorite episode was probably Starfire's finale episode with Blackfire in this arc, because that was some of the most intense role play and acting I've ever done.
That was so good. Yeah. I love that you had a crazy Dragon Ball Z fight with all these emotional like speeches going on, and I was just like,
like I wish that it wasn't my favorite episode, because that sounds really cliche, but like it was.
I mean, to be fair, one of the reasons I really like the me and Robin fighting Slade is because I was there too.
I like that Beast Boy was Slade's bitch, even though he wasn't supposed to be.
Like, how did that happen?
It was a package deal.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. No, that moment was really good. For me, I don't know. It is tough. I say it's very close with Nevermore because I really loved Nevermore. I think that Raven episodes, like even just watching for season 2, watching Fear itself, like, I mean, obviously they're doing all this like visual creepy horror stuff, and like it's existential already when you are thinking about what the episode is saying, and in a role-playing game there's even more opportunity for it to reach even deeper. And so I really love that. I also just love the more narrative flow that I was able to do, and sending like blurbs about like honestly, Charlie, like you just did so great in that episode that it was super fun.
I'm pretty proud of my performance in that episode.
I was surprised. I was like, you this is like I'm shocked.
It helped that I had like what do you call it? Like something to go off of. Half the time I just don't know what to say, so I just like sit here quietly until something comes to mind. But like with that episode, I kind of had like ideas to bounce off of, and I was able to show off a little more, I guess.
Yeah, and I'm really glad that you were, because it It was really fun. Um, and I love that. I think for me, probably still one of my favorites is Forces of Nature, just because
Mm.
of like how for me it was like the first time that I felt like obviously the episode 3 arc with sisters went totally off the rails. And I was
Yeah.
like, that's crazy. But like like Forces of Nature did that in a way that was like a super great example of like why I want to play like replay a game like this. Like it changed details but not the essence of entirely, and thus showed like what doing this kind of a game is capable of. You know, it was like choices like, wow, we're pretty beat up after fighting Thunder and Lightning on the bridge. Let's go back to the tower and take a short rest. And then that just like skipping a large portion of the episode and bringing the second part straight to the end fight. And then like things like instead of Beast Boy and Thunder having like an interaction like and combat at the end of that episode, it was Starfire and Lightning, and it
Yeah.
just melded really well. That was like the first like mini DBZ fight too. So that was like really fun to do that, like that matchup, Starfire and Lightning, just like
Yeah.
Yeah.
fighting and having that psychic like communication, the one you know, the way that Beast Boy and Thunder do instead in the original. And then obviously also it still had like the introduction of Slade disguised as that old man fighting Robin. And that was also Ryan's first time as Robin.
Oh
Um
yeah.
I
and
forget
that
sometimes
was
he was that late in. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
It
Um
also had Starfire wearing a mustache.
that's true.
that's
Yeah,
true.
I forgot about that.
That's true. I
Ryan is
forgot
such a
that.
good Robin, by the way.
He is. You are.
It's such a weird, like, I feel like I always have trouble with Robin because of like Robin is not 100% the type of D&D character I would normally do. Not in the way that like kind of a more smart character and like strategically thinking character, but more of like, oh, he's a hero but he's also a leader. That's like, okay, where am I in this?
Mm-hmm.
How do I role play this in a way?
yeah. You tend to
Right.
play You tend to play loners a little bit more, I think.
I do. I do.
Yeah.
That tends to like slowly come around to parties, while like this one's like right away he needs to be like the leader of the party and everybody's looking to him and I'm like, I missed the first part of this, so I'm jumping
I
right in.
feel like
Yeah, and I've been
exactly
trying, and I
how
think
Robin
sometimes
is
I
supposed to be.
subconsciously am like giving you that alley oop of just like looks at Robin, like he's the leader.
Yeah.
What's the thing you think we should do?
And
Like,
I
Yeah.
appreciate it. I
Much
appreciate it.
pressure. I'm glad that you are Robin and I'm Raven because I almost wanted to be Robin and yeah, I think I picked
Yeah.
the correct character.
I think I thought about Robin, and I think I picked the correct one too. So
yeah, I think it's good casting, honestly, because I mean, I think a lot of us have a role play challenge to overcome. Like,
Mhm.
again, obviously Starfire isn't the kind of character I usually play. She's more heroic. Then
Yeah,
I'm a murderer, a hobo, or a chaotic character. A lot of the time.
I like
Um,
planning, and Beast Boy is I don't plan or think. I just tell jokes, and so I'm just like it's kind of like a relief, but also like stressful because I'm like I have this
Mm.
idea. Would Beast Boy like think of this? And I'm just like
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, for
but,
sure.
I think it's been fun to overcome challenges too.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly
Yeah.
love the character choices that everybody has made with the like it. It's so cool to see how like each person fits the character that they've chosen, but at the same time, they make such cool, interesting character choices as that character.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And like I was gonna say to the point about like playing a leader character like Robin, I as a DM love the hell out of it because I feel like there are many things that in the modern era of D&D, you know, it's like the old guys, the old fogies played a certain way, and now the kids play a different way, and now there are kids who play a different way still, and there's gradients all within those realms. And one thing that I feel like has fallen out of fashion is a dedicated leader as an essential element in a D&D party. Nobody now, it's like, even if it happens, people are like, I don't want it, or I shouldn't want it. Like even to the capacity that like one of my characters in a game I'm in is kind of leader-ish. He's like, maybe I shouldn't be a leader, and let's all talk about it. Because I'm like, I don't know if I want to do that. But like, I think I really appreciate, like, I think it's a sign of maturity in a group when people can accept someone as a leader, if they've earned it and continue to earn it. And so that's why I'm even more happy that that it's been handled well, even in a group where it was assigned by the DM at the beginning. So yeah, those are just my thoughts about that, I guess.
For sure.
Well, and it also probably helps the dynamic has changed a little bit based on. I mean, you know, let's be real. We trust Robin, but like maybe not in the same way that we used to.
Yeah.
So I do think there is a more like our party like not necessarily functions a little bit more like an open forum than it did in the show at this point.
Yeah. And I feel like that was necessary, and like it's more like a thing where it's like a friend who has made mistakes, and now it's like, instead of just like in the show where he just like resolves to try to make less mistakes and his friends keep trusting him, which is fine, I think. It's a little more nuanced because it's like now there's like kind of an element of like accountability as well.
Yeah, true.
You know, where it's like, it has not been said, but it still feels in somewhat I would say at least partially uncertain terms that, like, you keep messing around, maybe we will not follow you anymore.
Yeah, I mean, it's like when you know somebody. It's like when you trust somebody, but you also like know that they have like potential like limitations. I guess.
Right, they have vices.
Yeah, exactly.
We can't
And
put Slade in front of Robin because he will be tempted.
he'll start humping.
Oh God.
Which brings us to question number.
Yeah, honestly, it's a good segue into question 3, which is, what do you believe will be your character's central conflict by the end of the story? Which I feel like is a question that is very impossible to predict, but we could do it by next season, but we could also do it by keep doing it by the end of the story, because I feel like obviously as we go down the road season by season, we'll get closer to an accurate guess.
That's fair.
I don't know.
I think I can lead with this. I think that you know, obviously it's a little bit foolhardy to think I could predict it, because at the beginning of this season I definitely didn't think Starfire's conflicts would be what they are now. But
yeah,
I definitely think that sort of, yeah, like we were talking about, sort of trust versus forgiveness and that complicated interplay are a big part of what goes on with her now, because not only Robin but obviously Blackfire, what's ended up happening here with Cinderblock. Like, I think who you trust, why you trust them, and like how you choose to belong with people is kind of it's sort of what's going on with her, and I don't really know how that's going to resolve, or if it's going to pivot to another sort of question.
I feel like if you're done,
yeah,
Paul,
I'm done.
I feel like for Robin, especially in the D&D setting, in the show, I feel like Robin had less. In the show, Robin seemed like he could hold his own against a lot of people. So like even in the Thunder and Lightning, I feel like he held his own in like when he did do masks, he held his own with the Red X costume. And I feel like this one so far, while Robin's like being the leader and trying to like do what he thinks is best, I feel like I've been struck with the vast difference in strength and like any kind of abilities that Robin seems to have, that I am curious, because it's like Robin in the show was a little bit different than like my mindset with this Robin, to like where is it that he's like going to be like a leader to all these powerful people and then can't protect them in a way from like a lot of different things.
Oh, that makes sense.
Because it's like like the whole reason, like, I know you you especially reacted when I said that I put on the Red X suit in Kuwait or wherever we were in Karak.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I was gonna say Kuwait, and I'm like, that wasn't it. It's one of those things where it's like, and I mean, it will. I'm sure it will eventually potentially come to a head where I feel like in my Robin's mind, the suit was a way to get close to Slade, and how he went about it was what was the issue, rather than the suit now being a potential tool to protect people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why that's why I made the decision to bring it on there, because I knew we were going with the Suicide Squad, and I was like, this is a tool to prevent Harley Quinn, in my case, from killing anybody.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, in the show, I think the implication was that he like destroyed it because it like symbolized like his his state of mind at that point, his addiction and stuff like that. But yeah, like that's a decision that totally makes sense and that I totally get.
Right. And that's kind of like where I'm like struggling with it. It's like, do I like try and rebuild the Red X suit into a Robin suit almost?
Yeah.
Doesn't
I'm
it
talking to the
technically
DM about
use
that.
like an illegal, like dangerous substance to be powered or something?
Nah.
I mean, I don't think we know that at this point, but
I can buy it. Don't worry.
That'll be an interesting thing to cover. You know, if only there's like another episode where where that suit is very relevant. Called,
imagine that,
called Twitter.
You're talking about the one with the car chase, yeah.
The joke is that it's called X or something.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Very dumb joke. Anyway, yeah. Does anyone else have like a prophecy?
Yeah, Tara. I mean, not till. I mean, I don't know if that will last till the end of the story. I don't know how long, like, or what's gonna happen with any of that. So, I'm kind of nervous. But I'm excited about what the heck is gonna happen with that. It's a big Beast Boy plot.
Yeah, because in the show, Beast Boy had like two of the most significant like character arcs. Like his outnumbered anybody else's.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not bitter that Starfire didn't get a season and Beast Boy got a season. Not at all.
It's okay, you're making up.
Yeah, it's true.
Mm-hmm. Johnny
yeah,
or Charlie? Okay.
Yeah, I think Tara and just Beast Boy trying to figure out his responsibility and what his like goals are.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's gonna be dramatic, I think.
Always.
Who else didn't answer?
Yeah, and not everyone has to have an answer if they don't think they can come up with one for any question.
IDK, my dad.
Yeah, that's pretty solid for Raven. IDK my dad.
That's so Raven.
Best I got.
Honestly, the big central conflict with Cyborg, I think, always is going to end up being at some level man versus technology, and how much is one life worth, or what is humanity? Questions of that are going to, I think, always going to come to the forefront of Cyborg. So I almost feel like his has got to be not just people talk about inner struggles, but his inner struggles have physical form. You know,
Mhm.
if his inner struggle is technology itself, well, that's also an outer struggle.
Yeah,
Anyway.
yeah.
It's
Johnny,
almost
it
like we
almost
missed an episode.
yeah.
Is that what
no,
you were
it-
literally about to say?
no, but that is accurate because that is what the rest of some of his parts was like. But you skipped it. But of course, because of that, there will be more of that in season 2. And
Yeah.
Robotic,
also,
the AI uprising.
I mean, I'm pretty. Oh yeah, the AI uprising. I'm also pretty excited for when we get to Brother Blood. Like that's gonna
Mhm.
be.
Oh yeah.
yes,
something.
the other thing that I was saying was, wow, Johnny, it almost sounds like you've watched the show,
Wait,
even though you haven't.
but it
It,
just
like,
it makes sense for him. And I've
I
read a
know.
little bit of comics in like the future of him, but as a whole, it just seems like it's his thing. He's got to do
Yeah.
battle with that.
Yeah, no, you're kind of on the track for like what a lot of like his character arc in his season is about.
Oh,
Honestly,
definitely.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, yes, it's kind of an obvious writing direction, which is why people have expressed that it's one of the weaker ones. um like in the original, but like, yeah, of course, like, the struggle between technology and humanity is an issue for Cyborg.
We're gonna do it better. That's right. We're gonna surpass the original material.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So, question 4: how do you feel about having created a drug that allows you to meet God?
Pretty good.
Huh.
I love
Well,
it. I think it's great.
You know, I think Cyborg is one step away from being like a paladin cleric. He just has to have the right thing happen to him. It's so, like, if he genuinely met God and was like, oh, everybody needs to meet this guy, he'd want to mass produce that drug.
Oh my goodness. Just becomes a drug lord.
I think that it's really like my focus is I think it's really interesting that we very logically came to the conclusion that almost all of us would do drugs in character. Given that I'm like 80% sure that these characters were probably invented for like anti-drug PSAs or something like that.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know if these characters would, but also I feel like their curiosity of trying to figure out what the heck what's his the Aqua guy was talking about.
Yeah.
Like, and just like safely testing this stuff that they I don't know why like we took that route, but it was fun.
It was super hilarious because, like, you could have just
that's
created
D&D for you.
yeah, you could have gotten the same results by just creating like a knockout gas.
That
But
would have been so
instead
not
you were
fun.
like narcotics.
I mean,
Let's
where's
make
the
them all
fun in a
hallucinate.
knockout gas?
We wanted to make
Yeah.
them chill, man.
And for
Yeah,
all of our
I was
listeners
just-
for all of our listeners at home, just know that our group chat to this day is called Teen Titans Roll a Joint.
It's true.
We do not condone drugs and illegal substances.
Or do we?
Depends on the drug.
Or do we? Hey, do whatever you want.
We condone freedom
Be
here.
safe, do whatever you want. I don't know.
Be safe is, I guess, like,
Yeah.
my compromise is be safe. But yeah, that was pretty silly because that was very much a D&D thing to do. And it was just super hilarious that it came about on an episode where we also had Dylan on as a guest. So
I love how little like consequence it sort of had. We met God, and I think it was good.
Yeah, other than that, it had like almost nothing except to give you a hint to like maybe talk to John Constantine if you want. And you chose
Yeah,
to,
true.
and that was nice. But yeah. And I came up with that fact because I had just watched like an animated John Constantine movie where he gets trapped in that house that was his house. There's like a version of that house that exists in the cosmos or something.
Mhm.
Like, and that he was like trapped there as like a prison and like reliving like horrible experiences in his life. And and at one point he was like, hey, what the fuck is going on? And like there's just this one scene of like the specter like looming over him in a big galaxy, and the art style changed, and he was like, yeah, you're a shit. He was like so I was like, yeah, I gotta get Spectre involved. I was like, Spectre will be involved in the process of meeting God. And then I was like, the last thing I saw with Spectre was a John Constantine thing, so I'm gonna bring that up too.
Very good.
Yeah. What superpower do you think your character wishes they could have?
I think
any
I
of
got
them.
this one. So I honestly, I think Cyborg really doesn't want to see people die, especially his friends. Like, he really is, if you read enough about him and look into him enough, he's kind of one of those I ride or die for my friends type of people. And but not he would also want to do more. So honestly, I thought hard about this, and some sort of healing ability I think would be the way he'd go. Like either to regenerate people things, or to just have a general healing powers that he can extend to people, or maybe a growth power that would include growing back limbs or growing plants too, or heck, cloning. Man, do you know it'd be cool if he could clone both himself and other people and have like 50 cyborgs, and then if he wanted to save somebody, he could clone them too. Man.
This is funny because while I still accept the utility of just having it as like an instantaneous power, I don't think any of those things you mentioned are impossible for Cyborg to accomplish, even if in some cases with some help, if he needs some help with science.
Right.
even before this being a D&D fantasy version, like just in the DC world. Yeah, if he really wanted to, he could, he could like speak to the people and learn the things necessary to make a clone.
Wow. Yeah. But he's not there yet, but yes, something that either prevents people from dying, or because the thing is, he's I think he quickly comes to realize he can prepare to protect people all day. He can do everything he can to protect people. But they're still going to get hurt one way or another. He will fail. And so if there's some way to help them after he fails, I think that's what he'd go with.
This is an element that is very common in superhero media, because there's like the Flash comics, most broken motherfucker in almost in like a lot of fiction, and he has something very like famous to him is, I'm not fast enough. Like, he's not always able to save people. He ruins the universe trying to save his own mother from being killed at one point by going back in time. Like, there are things, there's this issue where it's like exactly what you're talking about. Do I like, I care so much and I've lost so much, or I fear losing so much. What can I change to stop it or bring it back? And even the most powerful beings in the world that even Cyborg lives in, like, have gone through that, and some have realized I have to let some things go. Like, it is life. And so I'm very interested to see how that goes for Cyborg, and also for any of the characters, because I feel like that could easily happen to any or all of your characters. Like, as a team, you guys could be like, we must stop thing that happened.
I think it's because I just read in the comics the arc where he literally merged with the giant hive mind that took away all of his morals and everything, and just got down to the core gut. What does he want at this moment? And he decided, I want to protect the Teen Titans. So he took this giant spaceship back to Earth and nearly destroyed the planet just to extract his friends and be like, I'm going to keep you in stasis so you'll never die. He will do whatever it takes to protect his friends.
Reasonable.
The world be damned.
Yeah. Great.
Anyway, go on.
Yeah.
I think that Starfire's powers, they inherently stem from her confidence and her, like, joy and everything. So honestly, I think she's pretty happy with her powers. Like, I think that being content with her power is part of what her power is.
Mm-hmm. That's fair.
That's fair.
That's fair.
Let me think. I feel like Beast Boy, though he can, like, change into any animal, he can't really change much about himself. I mean, he's still green. He's a small, stupid boy.
His penis is not very large.
No, his penis is canonically large.
His penis is huge. No,
but at this, no, it's in the show. In the show with Puppet King, he looks in the pants.
He looks in the puppet's pants, and he's like, "That's not accurate."
It could also be because it was puppet size.
Oh no!
Oh my god!
But anyways, I feel like he would want to be able to shapeshift into different looking people too. Or I feel like he would, like, be satisfied with like Shazam powers, or just like I feel like I could see him being a Superman fanboy, or like just like being big and strong and just like being able to fly around. It just sounds super cool. And like he wouldn't like animals are amazing, and it's cool that he can just like I feel like he thinks it's super cool that he could just like have that array of like animal like capabilities, but also to some extent like people may like not like look at him as like his human self entirely, like and recognize that as like having potential or being like something along those lines, I think.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I think he would think he's one of the kind of kids that would be like, oh, I wish I were just a big strong brick like Superman or something.
Yeah, like I wish I was big and strong like Superman, or I wish I was like stronger and cooler like Cyborg, even though he's got the robot parts, but like he's like a good like mentor, like strong guy, and just like I don't know. Yeah.
I think Cyborg wants to be what's that island in Marvel? Krakatoa? Is that it?
What? I don't know what you're talking about.
The mutant. It's a mutant island.
Oh, okay.
and it actually has the power to revive dead mutants, but they also can live on him and live on the mutant island, and it protects them. Yeah, I want to be that.
Okay.
Krakoa. I think it's Krakoa. Yeah. Anyway, go on. Sorry,
Yeah.
I just thought of it.
Charlie, what do you think Raven would like?
The only thing I could really think of was like invisibility, maybe, so that she could just not be bothered. Otherwise, I don't know. I feel like she probably, to some degree, doesn't like her own powers. So,
Yeah, that's fair
another
too.
answer could be like literally anything else.
Yeah, I feel like the idea of like not being able to feel your emotions to their full potential because they would be dangerous is kind of terrifying to me because I have a lot of emotions and I'm just like, it's intriguing, but it's not like a fun power to need to deal with all the time, I would think.
Yeah. And then there's also like just the fact that our group needs a healer. So maybe healing, since we have no healing except for the cure wounds from Beast Boy, who's across the battlefield half the time, I feel like.
In a different form.
I lick you and it heals you for some reason.
No,
I don't know.
I just my last level might fix that. By the way, at least a little bit. I have the ability to take one spell and allow us to use it like 14 times per long rest.
Nice.
So, cure wounds will probably be that spell.
Probably a good call.
Yeah.
Cyborg the medic.
What is that
I'm gonna be a
ability?
medic.
He's gonna fix
He's always questioning you.
Run away!
You wish you knew, DM.
I think I should.
Spell storing item.
Okay. Yeah, okay, so you're just gonna... Alright. Makes sense.
Yeah. But we're going a little bit of help there. Oh, and I can even give that to other people. And so, like, here, use it on yourself.
It's like a med kit.
It's a med kit.
Rad.
Yes, please.
Alright. What's one thing you regret from the game? Why did you have to write such a scary question, Johnny?
You could ignore it, but you've already said it, so it's too late.
You can edit it out.
Nah. I mean, I think like for you guys, maybe like a choice or like a thing that ended up happening. If you have any regrets or like things that we skipped over.
I'm gonna go with not seducing Darkfire.
I wish.
I
don't regret crack shipping them with Raven.
I would have had fun. Maybe she would have joined the team. We'd have had a party. We're all good.
Nah. There was already a little bit of flirting, and that didn't save us.
You're out of your league.
Do you have any idea the power of the cyber penis? She would have been on our side so fast.
Listen. She'd hit, but she would also become the worst learning experience of your life.
Have you ever watched the video with the hot crazy scale?
She's
hot, but she's also way up there with crazy.
I don't know. She gives me one night stand vibes.
Fair.
I just wake every day. Cyborg comes in with bruises all over him.
Oh God!
Oh God, this is getting dark. I'm sorry, guys.
This is getting really dark.
Someone else answer.
Do you remember that? Do you remember that Teen Titans role playing podcast where the plot became about Cyborg being physically abused by Blackfire and everybody intervention? Yeah, I'm pretty sure they all did drugs and died.
They got better.
It's fine.
Gosh.
Someone else.
Yes.
My only regret is almost dying in the first episode.
Oh, fair. I think I can fairly say then that I regret not helping you and instead going to fight everybody.
You're chasing down.
You're
I was
chasing
chasing down
Jinx.
Jinx, which I don't know. It just felt like the fun choice at the time. But when I went back and listened to it, I was like, why was I like that in this episode?
Wasn't I fighting someone? Wasn't that the whole reason I almost died? Because
Yeah,
I chose to have fun and fight, and I was like, well, I'm never doing that again.
Oh my goodness.
I think
just hide in the back line and fucking cause fear to keep people away from me.
I think
Don't touch me.
I think I regret that sometimes I like overthink things, and I wish that I said more stupid things. Because like, I like think of a joke, and I'm just like, or like the hard thing for me is I'm in animal form so much, and I'm just like, dang, I can't say this because I'm like a bird right now or something, and I'm like, yes, I could like change out, but then like we're in the middle of battle, and I'm just like, man, that's like the in the show he like just changes like constantly like back into Beast Boy,
Right.
and like does like all these
Right.
quips, and then like goes back into like 5 different animals, and I'm like,
Yes.
technically like I could do things like that, but it's hard in combat where like it would use up all my spell slots changing into animals, and then like it's not like I'm too strategic with my battling where I'm like, I want to make sure I have like enough power to like get the job done.
But see, that also is what led to I can't talk, I'm a dog.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
So worth
and
it.
I will say sometimes that if in combat you want to make a quip or something like obviously I think there are combats in the show where like him being an animal and getting like thrown as a capybara and grunting weirdly as he like smacks into Cyborg like is part of the comedy. But if you want to make puns or something, like I'll let you just freely detransform and retransform like for the free action thing.
For the lols.
Yeah, for the lols.
It's like, DM, I'd like to use a free action to say a pun. You're like, no, not allowed. Like, shut up, you're interrupting me again.
Oh my God.
I regret prophesying Fast and Furious movies that had not been released yet. In episode 2 of our podcast.
Does it take place in 2003?
Yeah, no, there was definitely no fucking Hobbs and Shaw in 2003. But I also regret most of episode 2 because it's so fucking long and we did so much slow shit.
Yes, I as well. Okay. I will say as a DM, if there are things I regret, yeah, it was those first episodes, which are just like so poorly produced.
I think if I have a more serious one, like I've gone back and listened to a lot of this podcast, not all of it yet, but the in Sisters, I know that a lot of interesting character decisions ended up happening, and a lot of good stuff, in my opinion. But I think a lot of it was sort of predicated on a little bit of over dramatic role play. Like I think that I was really role playing the fact that we were impacted by Cinderblock's death, and I think I was role playing it harder than the rest of the group. And I think lack of like alignment sort of caused, I don't know, maybe a little bit of melodrama that maybe didn't need to be there. But
I mean, I feel like I didn't get as like personally impacted as Beast Boy because I wasn't even able to do damage to him. So, but like,
right,
because
like it's not my fault.
It was, but at the same time, like, I mean, I still feel like bad because like as a team we did cause him to go down, but it was more directly like you felt responsible because you were like starbolting him the entire time.
I mean, that's true, but it was Cyborg and like Robin that blew him up.
That's
and, like,
true. That's true.
And like I presumably like unlike the rest of the group have witnessed like war and death before, so like I don't know. It turned out fine, I think, but it read maybe a little bit like, oh, there's like a tragic event happening in the world, and like I've made it about me,
No, I mean, like, I think all that's fair. But personally, like, I really liked it, and I thought that, I think if anyone would to, like, regardless of whatever rationalizations about, oh, but she's seen death before, like,
Mhm.
yeah, that's kind of valid, but also in the show, she does kind of emotionally respond to things the most out of a group.
That's
And
fair.
everyone was kind of getting used to the fact that I had them presumably kill kill someone as a group of heroes. And so I kind of view it
Mhm.
like, well, even if she's, taken life or hurt people before, like, this is like Starfire's like new life with her hero friends. Like, this is where she
Yeah.
is a good person, and like
Mhm.
joy and laughter can reign supreme. This is not where this kind of thing is supposed to happen,
Yeah.
So I thought it was all good. And then, like, I think, like, if there was ever an opportunity for you to really feel that, the best opportunity was when your sister was was around.
Yeah,
So,
and I'm
you know.
really glad that it ended up like changing the story path so significantly too. So
Mhm. Yeah, for sure.
we get more Blackfire, who was an underused character.
Yeah,
Yay.
indeed. Okay.
Did everyone answer that one, or did they want to, or
I don't know.
did Robin say something? I don't remember.
I honestly can't think of anything off the top
He
of my head.
regrets nothing.
I regret
No
regret.
No rag
Throwing
rats.
explosion bombs at the whole entire team as
fine.
Cyborg.
Listen. First off, I don't feel
Getting bit by-
bad
oh my
about
God.
throwing grenades at fairy dogs that come back with no damage and superhuman people that can like whoop my butt left and right and center with a super suit on that
Valid.
should have beat your butts.
You killed puppies?
He
Who
killed
are you,
Puppy
Cyborg?
Dog.
He has no regrets.
I literally don't think I killed any of them.
Yeah.
No, he didn't.
I literally don't think I did anything that episode but try to get away.
Yeah.
I have no regrets. I regret
No,
not building a stronger
He did
suit.
throw a bomb into Starfire's face the second time.
That's true. He did do that.
But that's okay. She can take it.
Listen, it
Yeah,
wasn't
she did
in it wasn't in her face. It was between the two of us.
Oh, okay.
And I took the most of the damage on that one.
Very good. Very, very good.
Nice.
No regrets.
No regrets.
All
So
right.
few regrets that you will argue anyone's point of regret.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. The one last thing I wanted to say was that I regret that that we didn't react harder to some of previous Robin Delansky's very subtle, quiet, mumbled jokes, because some of them were super hilarious on the re-listen. We just didn't catch them like while we were in the heat of it. But like on the second listen, he was really funny. New Robin is also super funny, but Delansky was like very. He had a very unique sense of humor that worked really well.
That's funny. Yeah.
I regret mentioning that Beast Boy was eating an Impossible Burger, and when those didn't exist in 2003.
Better
that
times. Purer times. We must go back. All right. What being in the DC universe should the DM introduce as a romance option?
Oh no.
I don't know anything about DC. That's all you. That's all you guys.
technically Brainiac isn't a guy or a girl. And later turns good.
Okay, that's one of those things that like could technically be correct from the comics, but my experience with Brainiac, I mean, one, he always takes on a masculine form,
Yeah.
but of course that doesn't have to mean anything. But also my experience is from the Legion of Superheroes cartoon that I watched, where which is a weird one, but is super good. Where he definitely is a boy.
Yeah, it's true.
Are there any DC characters that are like weird, like sentient blobs? I feel like that would be interesting.
That would be
Gotta
pretty
be.
cool.
I'm sure there is.
What? I think Cyborg just wants a woman who's normal. Like, is there just
Excuse
some
me?
space? DC girls.
My joke answer is Desire of the Endless, and my
Yes.
serious answer is the Corinthian.
The what?
I don't remember
Wow.
either of those people.
It's Sandman. Anybody read?
Oh no, I follow. I know
Okay,
exactly.
thank you.
Really, Desire. Really, Desire.
It's my joke answer because
That's a terrible idea.
I think they'd be really obnoxious in this series,
Now-
especially since we're all teenagers.
To be fair, I feel like death is every guy's kind of halfway dream, but they all know it's absolutely unattainable, so they don't actually think about it.
I mean, she's literally death, so yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that's pretty great.
Mm-hmm.
I already have the romance option I want.
Is this like who you?
Me too.
Yay.
I mean, Tara.
The Corinthian, huh?
Google's how to get the good ending with Tara.
You don't know how hard I'm going to try to keep her.
I need a romance option for Raven, someone that can put up with her.
Gothic Bob.
I mean,
Gothic Bob.
Okay, sorry, that was a really old Teen Titans forum running joke. There was that goth kid she talked to at that club in that one episode. And
They call him Bob?
Yeah, the forums all called him Gothic Bob because he never
What
got
kind
it.
of name is Bob?
Robert, Bob.
Dude, I would never date a Bob. What the fuck?
They should go by
Bob
Robert.
the Builder sounding name.
Bob the Builder. Gothic Bob.
Okay,
Oh
well,
my
it
God.
has to be a guy that's simultaneously kind of screwed up.
It doesn't have it doesn't have to be a guy. It doesn't have to be a guy. Blackfire has been presented as an option.
And we've canonically established that she's probably bisexual, so.
Fair, but regardless, somebody who's
And she likes
simultaneously
Aqualad, but she also likes Blackfire too.
like she has to view them as stable. Like this person isn't going to go crazy, but has come through something.
But what if?
Tara.
Oh,
And then there's of course the Teen Titans Go shipping Raven and Beast Boy.
yeah.
There's
Well,
that.
okay. Listen.
That's
It's
what
more.
Aqualad is
Oh,
about.
Don't phrase it as a Teen Titans Go shipping. Okay,
You're
it's
right.
like a
You're
comic
right.
original shipping.
It's comic ship.
Excuse me. The creators of the cartoon did say that they were not a ship and that they considered them brother and sisterly.
What?
Oh my gosh.
Wait,
Cartoon.
don't they kiss?
No, in
It-
the Teen Titans cartoon, no.
in the original Teen Titans cartoon, not Teen Titans Go.
Oh no! I'm talking about in the Teen Titans Go cartoon.
Oh yeah, no. In Teen Titans Go, they're a ship.
Okay,
In the original,
okay.
they were not a ship.
What?
According to the creators.
But that
Yeah,
was
yeah.
before, like the
And by
everyone was
original,
shipped
you
with
mean the
everyone
2003.
like age.
No, it was simultaneous.
It was simultaneous.
Yeah, I was there.
Okay.
I was there. I
No.
am ancient of days.
I am,
You
I
know,
am all of the
All right,
endless.
old endless man.
I think she'd get along pretty
The
well with
Eldritch
Nightwing.
Monster.
I'm looking characters up.
Ooh, Nightwing would be good.
Yeah.
But also,
I'm
isn't
like-
that Robin? Wait,
I'm
hold
like-
on.
Robin.
Robin, he's grown up.
Wait, hold on.
I'm looking up funniest superheroes, like ones that just will make her laugh. And
Well, the thing is, like, I
Nightwing's
know
a
a lot of people ship Beast Boy and Raven, and I do think it's really cute, and the fan art's really cute.
I
but,
think they're cute.
But realistically, like, how are they compatible?
I think they balance each other out, honestly.
For exactly the reason that Johnny is talking about. Like, the fact that he is, like, an unbridled, like, positive influence, right?
Right.
That she,
I suppose, but that's literally it. Like,
and they've both been through, like, a lot together, and both been through a lot personally.
Shared
and, like,
trauma.
They just have nothing in common.
I mean, he's a Boy Scout, I guess, so he kind of has that, like, stable sort of thing going on. He's more the Captain America than Robin is, honestly.
Honestly, yeah, especially comic types versions.
I don't know that I would necessarily pair Raven with a Captain America archetype, though. You know.
Listen, the comic book Beast Boy, while also a goofball, is like a shredded, like what has been said, is like a shredded Captain America type who is, like, actually genuinely a very good leader and like respectable person. So it's
maybe she'll be into him when he turns into a werewolf monster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
that makes more sense, because then you got, like, I feel like you need a little bit of, like, chaos in there. I don't know that Raven would necessarily pair well with someone who's like
I think after the whole Terra thing and whatever else, like, happens, and also, like, I feel like comic Beast Boy, like, I mean, I know he has, like, a whole, like, doesn't he, like, have, like, more, like, Slade stuff, and, like, I don't know, man. I haven't read him.
So how about Moon Knight? I think she'd go really well with Moon Knight.
Let's not spend
Moon
more
Knight
time.
Marvel?
Yeah,
Hey.
Marvel?
Shut up. Hey, shut up.
I was just answering the question.
They both have multiple personalities.
Johnny, stop. Hey, okay. Listen, we can't spend any more time on this question. We have 3 questions left. I'd like to get them done before 10.
You just want to go get a burger.
What's one? Okay.
Okay.
This is an interesting question. I don't know if it'll be a good question. What's one secret about your character that you know and nobody else does?
All right, I got this. You know how Batman keeps a list of how to kill the members of the Justice League?
Oh, okay. You don't need to say any more.
No. He's the opposite. He's the exact opposite. He keeps a list of everyone that he would die for, and what's most likely to hurt them, and how he could prevent that damage.
Oh my god.
He has Robin, everything.
Guns.
Guns. That was surprisingly wholesome.
Yeah, that was good.
Oh.
Nice. Does anyone else want to answer that? You don't have to.
Starfire has a journal where she writes sometimes, and she's writing a story, a hypothetical story about herself when she's older, and she has a child, and it's called "I'm Not Starfire."
Oh God, no! And it's the worst thing you've ever seen because Starfire is not an author. Oh my goodness.
Oh man. I feel like Beast Boy has a cactus like plant in his room named like Steven, and he's talked to it with Talk with Plants, and it's what caused him to have existential crisis about whether like plants are like alive sentient beings or not.
It's just so fed up with you at this point that whenever you animate it, it just starts screaming to clean your gross, stinky room.
Yes.
Just like that one Steven Universe episode.
Just like Beastars, where he talked to that bug.
Great.
And I think he's gotten over that. And I headcanon that Beast Boy has like a cat bed that he likes to sleep on as like a cat or a ferret sometimes.
Yeah. Nice.
And his room is, yeah, of course, super dirty. Maybe you should clean it.
Okay. I think we could move on. Do you think that having access to D&D abilities makes it easier or harder to get through the story's plot points? In what other ways does it change things?
Weirder.
Yeah.
Harder, but that's just because I'm bad at D&D.
I think easier because I could summon blink.
Right.
Yeah, easier because I can like shapeshift and shit like that. Like,
yeah. We just have more tools under our belt. I mean, more ways to fix problems.
Yeah, like not only do we have our superpowers and our like abilities like augmented, but we also have like D&D classes as well. So like I don't know, I feel like it makes things easier to be like adapted differently and altered based on the original plot, because like there wasn't blink dogs, there wasn't like magic like spells or scrying or like all this like going on in the show. So it makes it weirder and easier, but also sometimes more complicated.
I have a very big counterpoint, and that is that I think it makes it more complicated because there's more things to keep track of. And I have a very specific example, being that I think it was our last session, I realized I went the entire season not realizing I had Hellish Rebuke because I'm a tiefling. I didn't use it once.
Fair. Understood.
So
fair, yeah.
that's just an example. Although it is fun to make people cause fear and run away like every single fight and silence them. That is kind of fun.
Yep. Yeah.
I feel like it makes it a little bit harder because it's like we can actually kill people pretty easily. But we have to think about like what would actually kill people.
It makes it harder in the sense that D&D is like kind of usually you like kill monsters and you like kind of fight things to the death once you get to initiative rolls. Unless you like actively do not want to, and that's what we're trying to do, but it's kind of harder.
Yeah, I can agree with that, definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
Fair.
Because once you hit initiative rolls, it's like usually you're like, oh, you're killing this thing.
It helps that I can say non-lethal and then like Superman punch somebody through like 3 buildings. So.
Yeah.
But it's non-lethal.
Yeah.
Just pummeling them into the ground.
Yeah. And, you know, in this game too, there should probably be more instances where like, no, yeah, you can shoot the big guy with the cannon and knock him out that way. Like that's fine. You know, it's just the only times that I've like it been like it does kill is like even if you guys like punched a dude down and I forgot to ask you if it was non-lethal and you take him out, I would typically assume, unless you were like, I'm killing this motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like except for Cinderblock because you blew him up with a massively damaging effect.
I mean, there is though inherently sort of like a lack of that Saturday morning violence censorship thing. Like, like as an example, I'm just thinking about in like the end in Teen Titans season 4 when Trigon the Terrible, like Satan, literally like shoots eye lasers at them to like consume them entirely. They just lie there like they've like they're winded afterwards. Like they don't. Their clothes aren't torn. They aren't like vaporized. Like they're just like, ouch, that hurt.
Unlike in our game, where
like even Robin, who's just a guy.
Robin survived being lasered by the devil.
Yeah, when the devil clearly intended to kill him.
Yeah. There's one of those things where this system and also just trying to do it as in a system in general is like, well, it does not consistently meet up with sometimes the consistency of the show or the inconsistency of the show. And so it's just trying for me to like find the balance in between the two, because there are definitely things where it's like, oh yeah, it's totally like valid to make Starfire like an unstoppable, like, just like flying brick. But then there's this one instance where like she gets shot by a laser from a Slade bot and like gets stunned and falls down, and it's like that is only for the dramatic effect of allowing Robin to shoot a grappling hook and save her. Like that's the only reason that scene happened. It was not balanced in like a in like a in like it was not to appeal to versus battle people on the internet. It's one of those things that those people would call an outlier because it doesn't make as much sense. But it's like it nevertheless exists. So like for instance, my solution to that was yeah, I'm gonna add a stunning effect that happens like if you get hit and damaged by that laser. Like it's a very bright, like startling effect, and it can kind of stun you. Like even someone powerful. Like I have to create allowances in the system to replicate effects that don't entirely make sense in the show or aren't entirely able to be reproduced one to one. But I won't go on about that for a super long time. But yeah. Yeah, I mean, any more thoughts about that?
Nope.
Okay. And now our final question. What's one thing you would like to tell the audience? Mine is, are you out there? Is
Like,
anybody out there?
if you're there,
remind the audience.
Please
you're
tell
there,
your friends. Tell your
thank
friends
you.
about us.
Congratulations, you made it.
Like spread the word. Send
Spread
us,
the word,
send us
keep
letters
listening.
or
I love
emails
you.
or whatever. I don't know how you're doing it, Joey, but
Yeah.
How you doing, guys?
talk to
All
us.
you audience.
We don't bite. Well, most of us.
Some
we can bite. Listen, if you sign up for the Patreon, we'll do whatever you want.
Yeah, I
We'll
was
fight
gonna
you.
say,
We'll
what
fight you.
what I would say is sign up for the Patreon. We do have one, right?
Yes, we do.
I will drive up
Send us
to
messages,
wherever.
Contact us.
Yes, I will drive up to wherever Paul lives now and bite him if you pay us enough.
I will accept that if you pay us enough. I will not
He won't
throw Johnny
resist.
on the ground. And step on
The
him.
audience runs away screaming.
I will
I
show up
need-
just so that I can like detailed recreate the scene for you guys like through audio.
You just narrate.
We'll
Joey,
have.
Joey, why don't you plug where they can like contact us?
Yes, I will do that. But I was just going to say two things. One, yes, it would be totally amazing to have as a Patreon reward, them fight / biting each other, because I genuinely want to know who out of Johnny or Paul would win, and also having Charlie like commentate it like like fight night, and yeah.
Here we see Paul coming in with a right hook.
Yeah,
For a one-time charge of $1,000,
It's
you can
gonna
have
be bloody.
Yeah.
But yes, if you don't know already, we're on Patreon as Mind Theater Media. It's the oldie spelling. Maybe I should change that.
Nah,
but
no, it's perfect.
it's good.
Mind
Yeah.
Theatre.
Theatre.
It's Mind Theater. Okay, let me do this real quick. Mind Theater Media on Patreon, Mind Theater Media on Facebook, and on X or Twitter. It is Mind Theater Media. It's at Mind Theater TWT, and I'm not changing that to at Mind Theater X. So,
TWT.
yes, if you join the Patreon, then you can literally talk to us directly, and communicating and believing that we have an audience will never be an issue again, because I did make a connected Discord server that just sits empty. So
Oh no! Join our
You guys
Discord.
hop on there,
Also,
on
why
there
am I not in that Discord? Please send me the link, Joey.
I will send you all the Discord link as well. I didn't have it as a priority because we had no one.
Discord should always be a priority. Discord's like 90% of what I use anymore.
Fair enough.
Listeners, you should absolutely hop on there and on the Twitter so you can tell us all how disappointed you are.
Get on the train. Indeed.
You think
please join our Discord. I love Discord.
Regret? You tell us what we should regret, please.
Yes, step on it.
I'd love to hear what I should regret.
Yes. Tell me I'm an idiot. At least I would know I exist.
Things about the show. Tell us everything you hate. Tell us whatever. I don't know. Just
tell us about all your weird sexual fantasies with our characters.
Whoa.
I'm kidding, don't do that.
Aged up, for God's sake.
Don't do that unless you sub to our Patreon and you do whatever the fuck you want.
Listen, if you become part of the Patreon family, there are horrors for you there that you can experience. Like a certain little 10-minute blurb about Beast Boy.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. But
oh
no. on that note, thank you all so much for listening to this season. And thank you guys for being my players in this season of Teen Titans Roll.
Thank you, Joey.
We did it! Holy crap!
You've done amazing.
We did it!
Your adaptations of everything. It's great.
When they're strong.
Send me that Discord right now.
I will. Okay, hold on.
We did 300 episodes. Feels like it.
A caption on screen says, 2 months later. We look down on an Arctic research facility in the midst of a blustery tundra. Then, our sight goes to the inside, where a high school girl walks around a lab. She checks various machine consoles while referencing a clipboard. Her work is interrupted by a wall exploding. She cries out as she falls to the ground and gapes backwards in fear. Through the opening from outside strides in Jinx, Mammoth, and Gizmo, and finally, an old woman with gray hair and a black winter uniform with a gold patch on the upper arm. The girl scrambles away, trying to get to an emergency button on the wall. Jinx cartwheels in front of her and leans down to peer at her with a snicker as she blocks her path. Mammoth steps forward and grabs her by her lab coat collar, lifting her completely off the ground. She yells and kicks uselessly, and her name tag lanyard falls onto the ground. "Let me go!" she yells. Mammoth, Jinx, and Gizmo chuckle cruelly at her, but are interrupted by the older woman. "Get rid of that. We've a task to perform," she commands. "Yes, Hive Headmistress," they all respond in earnest. Mammoth opens a door to a strange testing chamber in the lab and throws the girl inside, despite her protests, before closing her in. Gizmo scuttles around, hacking one console and then the next, while Jinx plays randomly with the buttons on others, which all spark with purple energy and begin to glitch. The girl bangs uselessly on the clear walls of the testing chamber, muffled but still audible. Stop! You can't! Miss Lincoln worked hard on this. The headmistress turns to her. I'm afraid that Lori Lincoln has upset quite a few people since starting out as the villain Killer Frost. One of these people happens to be my client. Gizmo chimes in. Oh yeah, I heard a rumor at the academy that she got caught up in some military psyop thingy. Her head got explodified, Jinx adds, while pirouetting. What? What are you saying? The girl asks in horror. I'm afraid that it's true, my dear, the headmistress answers. Your mentor went and used her research to continue the legacy of her mentor, the original Killer Frost. Your government is no longer willing to fund this division out in the open, which is why I'm here to oversee this job personally. Gizmo removes a disc from a port in the console he was working at and walks back to his master. I've got the goods, headmistress, he says. Excellent. Be sure to make a copy for our own use before we deliver it to the client. She then walks over to a panel and presses a button on the chamber. Immediately, frost begins to form around the girl, and then she is struck by white bolts of energy. She cries out in pain. Jinx, Gizmo, and Mammoth look surprised and glance at each other nervously. The headmistress looks on the girl's agony with a frown. It really is a shame to see such a promising young person meet their end so soon, but it's unavoidable, I'm afraid. She leans forward so that her face is close to the chamber wall, so that only the girl can hear her. Please don't take this personally. From what I've been able to gather, your mentor was caught between a corrupt government faction and the meddling hand of justice of the Teen Titans. If not for her anger towards a certain morose young girl, she might still be here to protect you. The girl writhes in pain as more energy strikes her, and then collapses onto the ground, lifeless. An automated message plays over the intercom. Warning! Self-sustaining thermodynamic ultraconductor breach imminent. Please evacuate. The headmistress beckons to her underlings, and they flee into the night. Machines begin to spark, and the ground shakes. Pieces of the building start to collapse. A massive surge of the white energy flows through the chamber once more, and the girl's body is lifted into the air. Her eyes open, a pure white light flowing forth from them and from her mouth, glowing from within. The chamber walls burst apart, and a vortex forms around her, an icy cyclone that blows off the roof of the building. It begins to expand, obscuring from view all that's within. Our eyes are placed upon the fallen name tag, propped up on its lanyard on the floor, before it is ripped away by the wind and everything is blocked from sight. It reads, Star Labs student intern, Caitlin Snow.